you know. But at the end of the day, you got Russia, and you have the United States. Plenty of nukes on both sides. And you got other parts of the country, parts of the world that have nuclear warheads and stuff, usually by us or Russia. And maybe another country here or there might have made one or two, which I doubt. Probably mainly made by us. We sell them the materials. We sell them the machines and the centrifuges. We sell them all this stuff to build these things. And they really think they got something. I mean, that's what gets me. It'd be like you running around with some fatal disease in a tube. You got this little tube, and you got a fatal disease in there. And you're like, man, I got something, man. Only got a drop of this will kill everybody. The only problem is it'll kill you too. So what do you really got? So, I mean, that's these sick son of a bitches. That's how they think. Russia, United States. Oh, we got all these nukes. It's like, yeah, great and wonderful, but what's it going to do for you? It's going to kill you too, you dumbasses. So, what I'm getting at here is Russia's been testing us. We've been pushing Russia. Our leadership is weak. I mean, at best, it's weak. It's if you really want to know, it's probably incompetence. You got a bunch of people running around that are just they shouldn't be in these positions. I mean, at the very best, I mean, instead of taking the whole world down, they might take half of it down, or 3/4 down, because of their incompetence. And their greed and everything else, but that's beside the point. Anyhow, what I think is interesting about a lot of this stuff that goes on is Russia's trying to build a coalition in China with China and in India. They're trying to build their own NATO, basically, their own little coalition. And then they're going to try to gang up on our coalition. And they're going to try to take some people from our coalition to their coalition and vice versa. It's like it's just a bunch of posturing and saber rattling and a bunch of shit like that. Is all it is. I mean, the only time these people would do anything is if they feel like they're being overrun. And what I mean by that is, you understand what I'm saying, but to clarify, if they feel their country's getting the worst end of it, and they're not going to last much longer, and they're going to be overrun, and they're not going to have a country, and they're going to lose power. That's really what it comes down to, is they're going to lose power. The poor bastards that live in there will wreak the havoc because of some stupid bastards that are, worried about losing a little power. That's when you'll see desperate things, desperate measures being taken. And we're not there yet. So all this bullshit posturing again, like I keep saying, you got all these colonels and all these ex-generals and XXX. You got to remember they're a bunch of X's, okay? Most of them have been out of the scene for so long it's unreal. Half of them don't even know what the hell they're talking about. And then, of course, you got your ex-CIA guys out there. Oh, man. I mean, every Navy SEALs, you got all these buttholes out there cashing in on things where, what the hell do they know? You don't know any more than you do. I mean, they come up with a bunch of speculation and so on and so forth on things. And they don't apply God's word to what they're saying. And they're cashing in on it. That's all it comes down to, folks, is they're cashing in on it. And you buy into their bullshit. You know, if you have a bank collapse, we've had them before. You dug yourself out of the hole. And I'm not talking about... What's sad about this is these son of bitches are reckless, and they cause these problems, and then everyday people pay the price for them being incompetent, for their greed, and you pay the price for it. That's got to stop. That has to stop. You see, the minute the bully gets a bloody nose, he goes, "Oh, Trish, what the hell just happened?" Right? The peasants ain't taking your crap anymore. The slaves ain't taking your crap anymore. Then they get scared. And the next thing that happens is what happens in France, you know, kings and queens and off with their heads and things like that. That's what ends up happening. They can't. There's too many of you. I mean, that's what they did, building pyramids and a whole bunch of other stuff. They just ended up killing all the slaves off because they were strong, because they worked. The pieces of crap that stood there watching them had a little whip, or maybe a spear, maybe, or just bullshit. You're talking about men that you know were lifting heavy stones and heavy labor, manual labor, and they could just clean the clock about 10 of those pieces of crap that stood there. That's the way it is today. If you don't understand, look at the condition of some of these officers. They don't have any condition. There's no conditioning there. You know, maybe a donut shop. You know, maybe McDonald's or something condition their waste really well, but you know, that's about it. You know, what always gets me is I remember seeing a guy. He had a gym. You know, he'd go to lift and this and that. Pretty good sized guy, and the thing of it is you know, they didn't show up with a officer. They showed up with several because they knew one thing. You know, this guy works out every day. He owns a gym. I mean, you know, he's not a pushover. He wants to kick their ass. He will. So they got to send in the troops, enough of them that, you know, they can. But what they don't count on is, well, maybe there's a few guys standing back that's like, well, you know, let them go after old, I don't know, Harvey or whatever, the shop owner, and they might end up with the whole gym coming out there and kicking their ass. And that's where we're headed. See, the people are getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're tired of worrying about this. They're tired of being scared about this. They're tired, and they're going to lash out. Sooner or later, it will turn, and it's not going to be pretty. It's going to get downright ugly. And when that happens, it's a free-for-all. But that ain't good. That's not good for anybody. But you see, the son of bitches push you and push you and push you. You see, they make you a product of your environment. That's what you become. They're creating an environment of hostile, aggressive, lawless people, because that's what they are. And they're creating a whole subculture of this. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose because they created it. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs. But you're just a product of your environment. So hopefully they'll get their heads out of their butts, but they won't. I mean, you can pray to God, and God works miracles. I mean, anything is possible under God and with God. So the one thing you never ever do is cease praying. You keep asking and asking and asking God to intervene and to take care of this matter and to take care of you, to give you wisdom and knowledge and such to get yourself through these times. Like I said in other videos, they're not supposed to profit off of criminal activity. Okay? They send the bad guy to jail, prison, or whatever. Then if he tries to write a book or make a movie, he can't profit from that. Okay? He usually seize assets and a whole bunch of other stuff because of ill-gotten gains and blah, blah, blah. And that's what these people have done. But just on a mass scale. Not just here, but worldwide. So what do you do about that? Well, you give it to God, and God will take care of it. You see, they're going to have to answer to God, and God will put up roadblocks, and God will cause them problems, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we're not even privy to, that we can't imagine could possibly happen, because we're talking about God. I mean, who knows? Like I said, God's smarter than all of us. He created the universe. So, when you can do that, and you can raise people from the dead, and a whole bunch of other things, well, I shouldn't say a whole bunch of other things, I should say anything. Yeah. You're dealing with the divine there, just way beyond your comprehension and mind.